This podcast is brought to you by Kiwi Design, the leader in MetaQuest and VR accessories. And now you can deck out your device while supporting the podcast. The MetaQuest 2 is a great headset, but do you ever feel things could be a bit more comfortable? Well, we have the solution for you. With lens protectors, controller grips, face covers, head straps, link cables, headset stands, and more, including my two personal favorites, the top version controller grips with added weight and an extended handle, and the Kiwi upgraded Elite strap. Let's be real, we've all whacked our controller. Don't be the guy messaging Oculus support for your own mistake or waiting weeks for an out-of-stock controller. Visit the link in our show notes to prepare yourself today. After visiting the link in our show notes, make sure to use the promo code RuffTalkVR at checkout, all one word, to take full advantage of your savings. And make sure to click the link in our show notes so the podcast gets credit and you help support us. Remember, whatever you need, Kiwi has you covered. Hey, welcome to this episode of Ruff Talk VR. You know, last week we had talked a little bit about maybe rebranding and playing with the Monday Morning News name, and it starts today. This episode we're calling VR News of the Week. And we're open for changes. You know,
that's what we're calling it this week.
This week, you know, we're going to play around a little bit.
Maybe we call it something different every week.
Until we get something that really, really clicks. You know, Monday Morning News, it was just kind of something that we came up with for no rhyme or reason. Like, that's kind of how you...
Because it's on Monday.
Yeah, but, you know, then you find out, oh, a lot of people don't really always listen on Monday, so that's a little irrelevant. And then it's like, well, that doesn't really stick out as VR related as well. Monday Morning News, what are you going to talk about? The latest in world news? Like, okay, so I guess the VR news of the week is a little bit more niche specific. That's why we ended up going with that. But we're open to experimentation and playing around. So if you have any ideas, you have some feedback, some ideas, send us an email, roughtalkvr@gmail.com. Go on our Discord, comment on Discord, comment in the YouTube comments, comment on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, add us, direct message us, anything like that. Give us some feedback, give us some suggestions. We're always an open book. So this week, though, we're calling it VR News of the Week.
That works.
It works. Like I said, we're open to play around. And in rightful, I guess, weekly VR news fashion, plenty to talk about this week.
Yeah, I think this whole year is going to be
the same thing over and over again. Every week something.
It's going to be like this for years, I think.
Yeah, we even have we're playing with some ways to do some double features of review episodes. You know, we're going to do one format this week of a double feature on Wednesday. You came forward with a phenomenal idea to play with, you know, next week and in the future that we're definitely gonna do after this. But basically, because there's just so much content coming out, you know, if we had a backlog to start the year, it's just snowballed and gotten so much worse through 2023. So many great games to talk about.
Oh yeah. And
you know, right off the top, before we get into like, you know, the new releases or updates or anything like that, one of our sponsors, an app that you're extremely passionate about for good reason, Mindway. It's a VR wellness app with meditation, with ASMR. It's amazing. Sleep therapy. You know, they have sessions for anxiety, for depression. It is so good. We're big on Mindway. And, you know, the way they do it is they have like a free tier where they give you some content, but, you know, the whole app is paid. They just announced that, you ready? Drum roll, please. They're going free to play until May 9th. So I say free to play, but what I mean is all of their content, all their subscription content that you usually pay, you know, either monthly or they have like an annual tier, they're giving you the whole access to try until May 9th. So basically a whole month, just over. That's huge.
Yeah, I think it was a great move.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things like, you know, you see a little bit of what's going on in the app with the free, but I mean, geez, experience this whole meditative experience and then tell me you're not hooked. It's become part of pretty much your daily routine.
Yeah, I give them kudos all the time. I talk to them now and then on IG. So no, I think it was overall a great move for them to let everyone experience everything the app really has to offer. Not that I mean, you could probably live off the free portion if you wanted to, but to really get to experience it all. hats off to them. It's just going to be more people that are going to be able to try it.
Yeah. And I mean, we're big on mental health. I think that I always like our sponsors to not always like, to be honest with you, we won't take a sponsor if it's not something that we actually are passionate and believe
We said that from day one before there was even sponsors.
Yeah, that's a big thing. And, so when we see a VR wellness app as a sponsor, hell yeah, that's something that we're passionate about. We believe in. Having used the app, you're like, this isn't cheaply put together. This is very, very well done. Like I said, become part of pretty much your daily routine. It's like, all right, it's Mindway time, baby.
And it's almost like they have a program for everyone, depending on what you I guess, quote unquote, want to feel type of thing. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if yours is relaxation, de-stress, I've heard some talk about some other ones that they might come out with in the future. So, I mean, they genuinely care. They put a lot of effort into putting it all together. They even had a community event, I think, last week.
Mm-hmm. I think it was like a live in-person thing for the community, which was pretty cool.
So they could socialize. But I would encourage people to go, as much as we tell people, hey, go to our Discord. It's like, please go to theirs. I'm trying to have conversations, and it's not.
Well, sponsorship.
I'm talking to myself,
Sponsorship aside, even if they weren't a sponsor right now, they're an app that I'm extremely passionate about because, again, mental health and stuff, that's something that's very important.
Dude, it was a no-brainer. It would have been in my library either way.
Yeah.
I mean,
when it all came together, you were saying, I have been looking for one of these apps, so why not? So Mindway, if you've been curious, you've been hearing it on the podcast. You heard us announce it the other week.
Try the whole thing.
Yeah, now you can try the whole thing until May 9th. Yep. That's huge. So,
kudos to them. I really, honestly.
Yeah, huge props to them. On another piece of news, there's a game that's in development called Hex VR. It's available on SideQuest. It's not something we're going to do a review about, do a deep dive, but I definitely wanted to give them a little shout out because, it's kind of I guess you could say a spiritual continuation of Echo VR. No direct relationship or anything like that, but it has that same competitive zero gravity sport environment, I guess you could say. They popped into our Discord, they told us a little bit about the game. And if, you're an Echo VR player, or soon to be former, I guess you could say, and you've
retired.
Been missing, yeah,
you've been retired.
Yeah, the game's still in development, still a long way to go. But if you want to go support them and be a part of a game in development, go check out Hex VR. Like I said, available on SideQuest.
And let's be honest, it's going to be good.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's a young team of developers too. But as we've seen with Gods of Gravity, that means they have time. They have work ethic too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I think everyone we've talked to so far in the industry has strong work ethic. I just think where the 21-year-olds that are pumping out games like this, if like Gods of Gravity, I'll use, they just have that much more time before they reach the age of that older developer who, probably won't be around anymore. But so that they have so much more to be able to learn.
Yeah.
And as the technology gets newer and newer, it's going to be those younger ones who. So it's pretty incredible, dude. Because the older people, even my age, they're developing games. They're in it. They're doing it. But I know, 20, 30 years from now, those kids are going to be where these people are at today.
Well, and it's a great example of the market speak. So it's like people miss Echo. They want a substitute. Well, here it is. There's a need, so people are going to make it. Yeah. So I hope the game sees the full light of day. I hope it gets completed.
We'll have to keep watching.
Yep, we'll keep a good eye on it. And if you've been missing that type of game, like I said, definitely go check out Hex VR on SideQuest. And another piece of news, towards the end of last week on Thursday or Friday, sometimes it's funny how the days kind of blur together like that. But Among Us VR through Shell Games, and there's some other developers mixed in there like Robot Teddy and everything, but I don't know if I'm biased or something like that, but to me, that's like Shell Games leading the charge on it. It always feels like, in my brain at least. But they announced that they had come to a winner in their community voted name for their next map, which came out. The map name is, and this is going to be another like
Don't quote me on pronunciation or anything like that.
You say it however you want.
Yes, it is Oculus Point. So that's just another example that, Among Us VR is going to keep having updates. That there's so much coming.
They're not slowing down with it.
It still shows up on like top selling and stuff like that. It's insanely popular. Go figure. Among Us, it's sells itself pretty easy.
There'll be kids out of school in our area soon, so you know that the usage will go up.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Summer vacation, probably not the time for us to pop into the public lobbies, but with a group of friends in a private lobby,
always killing it,
dude. It's hilarious just seeing people play the character, easily take the role.
I like to put religious people in this, like
yeah,
priests
scared of lying and stuff,
and everybody's rabbis.
See people who don't lie and they're like, it's just a game, though.
Kill.
Yeah, it's just a game.
It's just a game.
There's something amazing about doing it in VR. You run up on somebody, stabby, stab, stab, and then the cut screen comes up with the.
Because it's not all photorealist. I mean, if it really looked like you, would be like, dude, this is, or like that autopsy simulator I played at PAX. You're like, oh shit, this isn't the game.
Yeah, it's not. You see it. Come on, they pull out the knife for choppy chop chop in the cut screen. That's freaking hilarious with your little Among Us character. So. Hats off to Shell Games and the rest of the crew behind Among Us VR for continuously pumping out updates, listening to community feedback, and deciding on a name for their community-voted map with Oculus Point.
And we still anxiously await.
I expect you to die 3. I know. No release date or anything yet, but man, I wasn't even expecting that announcement this year. And then when they came out with that, what was that? Probably about a month ago now?
It was like a bomb dropping.
Dude.
My excitement level went up. Boom.
One of our favorite series in VR, and I'm even excited for the intro music.
Fuck yeah,
that's like going to be one of my highlights. Is all right. I think one's was slightly better than 2, but I think it's also like that little bit of nostalgic. Like, well, that was the first.
I expect you to die.
But they're both so good. They're both really good.
Yeah, I won't actually rate one above the other. I think at this point.
It's hard. They're both really good. So 3.
I can't remember both of them how they sound though. I can only remember the one.
Yeah.
I expect you to die.
Well, that's the thing. It's more like that's what you think of with the series is that first one, but the second one had a phenomenal intro as well.
Yeah, man.
So the bar has been set
Decent
for number
story
3.
Too.
Decent story, amazing story, amazing voice
Will
acting.
Wheaton.
Yeah, the bar has been set with number 2. We already talked about that. We're going to be a broken record saying the same thing we said like a month ago. But yeah, the bar's been set. We're huge fans of the game. So freaking excited for
Even if they don't
3.
raise the bar, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Because what they, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's going to be all new puzzles. No repetitiveness.
So there hasn't been a release date yet?
Yep.
And there's also not a release date on the Quest 3. My brain just connected. Do you think that's going to be a release title
bundle?
for not a bundle, but maybe just like I have a feeling when they announce the Quest 3, pure speculation here, but
they'll make it for Q2.
Yeah, it's definitely will be compatible too, but I'm starting to think that might be a launch title with the Quest 3, same with Ghostbusters. I think you'll see those drop the same day.
I think Ghostbusters is coming soon.
You think so?
Yeah.
I'm going to guess it comes with October.
I've seen some movement. I just don't know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this week.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for that one. But again, huge props to Shell Games because they got a whole bunch to work on, and they're continuously pumping it out.
They don't. They're just one of those small handful of studios that these are your AAA folks.
Mm-hmm. And then there was another game that was announced coming soon called. Here comes the pronunciation issues again. It's Crimen, Crimen Mercenary Tales.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like a single player kind of story based adventure game that actually I'm not going to go off on the cusp and go I'm so hype and I'm guaranteed that this one's going to be amazing. But it looked like it had the potential to be really damn good.
Yeah, I want to play it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
It graphically didn't look the worst. But I'm always, what I've come to learn that no matter what you see in the cut screens and trailers they show you and stuff, it's like obviously it's all put together for a purpose. So it's.
I don't want to be critical, but
I want to get my hands on it.
I actually will say that this is going to be one of those examples that, based off the trailer, I gathered that it's a single player what seems like story-based
it
adventure
looks-
game.
Yeah.
But I don't say that I fully understand what the game's about based off of.
Well, you know you're doing a lot of hacking and slashing.
In the description, it says a 17th century
8
game.
levels. I
8
think.
levels, yep.
8 levels or 8 missions.
But what that means is, who knows, is a mission 10 minutes, an
Don't know.
hour?
Don't know.
So the number of
Maybe
levels
you'll never get to 8.
is too hard.
Too
Keep
hard.
dying. It's going to be like Ghost Signal, that like we talk about on Wednesday. That is just good luck getting to the last stage of
Can
that.
someone tell me what the last stage feels like?
Yeah.
Because I at this point, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll talk about that Wednesday. But sometimes games are just hard. So yeah, well, let's see what these 8 levels look like. Like I said,
But it looked pretty good. It
Yeah.
looked like it had fun element.
I agree.
But it's one of those like, yeah, I got to really play it to know.
You know what's the real make it or break it a lot of times for those things for me? Not the make it or break it, not like the only sole element, but man, if there's not interactability in that game, like, you know, if everything,
Blades of Sorcery and all that.
well, no, I don't want to give spoilers on a review. You know, again, like I just did a little bit for Ghost Signal, but you know, you look at a game like Peaky Blinders, where like so much of Peaky Blinders environment is interactable, and that adds to the experience. I've seen other story-based games in VR, not the case. Interactability is very much a back thought.
Oh yeah, it's all just flat.
Yeah, and you can't grab it. It's just like a cosmetic item.
Mm-hmm.
To me, in a story-based game, you need that type of interactability. So I think that's going to be a big factor for this one.
Well, especially in this one with
kind of puzzle-looking things
so
almost.
we'll see.
So yeah, definitely. I'm leaning a little bit more towards the, I think it's going to be good. I'd say I'm like 65-35 right now. But that's pretty good. So I'll definitely check it out when it comes. Like you said, it's one of those situations you see it and you're like, well, damn it, I want to play, but it's coming soon. So stay tuned for that one. I think a lot of potential, but you know, I've been burned before, so let's see. Another game that we actually never reviewed this one. We've played it though. I'm big on, you know, boxing games and everything like that. I love Thrill the Fight. The other big boxing game on the official MetaQuest store is Creed, which I mean, it has the Rocky licensing with it. You have
Apollo Creed.
Yeah, you have characters from the Rocky movies in the game. So it has the benefit of having the official licensing. When we first played it, there was only the option with stamina where it was very arcade. Meaning you play Thrill the Fight, you get tired, your character's tired, but your character will never get fatigued. But I promise, you're going to get fatigued. Like, good luck. You know, the game doesn't need built-in stamina bars. In fact, that's a hindrance. Creed, on the other hand, did have stamina bars. So that was a little bit of a meh to me, but, you know, probably like, geez, at this point a year ago, they added an endurance mode that you could toggle on in the settings that makes it so that there's no stamina. So it's like Thrill the Fight. So that was one direction away from the arcadey, but it has a really well done career mode. You know, it's fun. I'll give it credit. And then it has a multiplayer mode. And it's since launched on PSVR 2. It was available on PlayStation VR as well. And they just put out a new update, the Championship Edition update, that adds new content, graphical updates, gameplay improvements, and makes the PvP cross-platform. So between the endurance mode, this new improvements, you know, we were watching the trailer for it, which looked like PlayStation VR 2 gameplay and graphics and everything like that. And headset, yes. The trailer was definitely orientated towards the PlayStation VR 2, but it's important to note that the Championship update is coming to the Quest 2. I think I got to check it back out. You know, last time we played, we did PvP against each other after doing the whole story and everything, and you lit my ass up.
Yup.
But there was no endurance mode. I was restricted by my stamina bar, I'll make the excuse of. So we might need to hop back in this one, see what's up with these enhancements, some extra new content, and maybe give the PvP mode a try. You know, a common complaint has always been that there's not like too much matches available on the PvP. It's more like, oh, if you have a friend to play with, you're going to be able to. But with the recent release of the PSVR 2, this coming out on it, and the multiplayer being cross-platform, I think that's going to help eliminate that issue of, you know, no fights available. So,
we'll see on the PSVR 2.
Yeah.
Because you figure they've only sold that many headsets. Out of those people, how many people are actually going to buy Creed?
And then of those people, how many are going to go in
and play player versus player? So it's like,
we'll see it. It just has the potential, I'm saying.
I would have probably marketed it a little heavier on the Quest 2
side
advertisement.
Yeah.
based on, but whatever.
But the updates are coming to the Quest 2 as well. So that's definitely cool to see. Huge props to the developers of Creed.
Yep.
It's enough that for me that I'm like, damn, I got to go.
Gotta play it again.
Yeah, I got to go check this back out. And anybody watching on YouTube, which again, we've been trying to do a little bit better of pushing that. Yes, we are on YouTube. You'll see I'm rocking this nice, Reggie, the podcast Pooch t-shirt. It's pretty trippy. It's pretty cool. Mine's a little bit crooked, but we've since straightened it. And the one that's going live on the store, is straightened and much, much better. But if you go check out our merch shop on Etsy, which you can find on our website, Ruff Talk VR, you can find this Reggie Kingston shirt. Pretty freaking sweet.
Nice.
Yeah, I figure this is a good time where we can plug our Discord, our Patreon, all that stuff. Discord, it's ever popping. Like I say it every week. If you're not a part of the Discord yet, I highly recommend go join that. Go engage with some Ruff Talk VR listeners and just some fans of VR in general. It's easy to find a game to play with people. If you're like, oh, I want to do some Demio, but I don't have anybody to play with. Even though it's, you can find public lobbies, it's easy to find a game to play in the group there, or just ask suggestions, or hell, just talk VR. So our Discord's a great place to be. We're also doing some giveaways in our Discord the next couple weeks where, don't worry if you don't understand the way Discord works. We'll teach you. We'll explain how to do the giveaway. But basically, you join the Discord, you go to the giveaway channel, and you click an icon that's there, and then you're registered for the Discord, or sorry, for the giveaway. But so this week we're giving out 2 keys for a game called The Last Worker, which we'll be reviewing coming up in the next couple weeks. And then next week we have a giveaway coming up to give away a key for Demio as well. So, and then we have a third giveaway scheduled for a cool App Lab game. So I think, a lot of good stuff coming up in there in the giveaway side of things. So definitely go join the Discord, not only to go engage with people, but also, hey, get a chance to win some keys. And in our Discord, there's an exclusive chat room just for our Patreon members that we also do some separate bonus giveaways for. So you kind of have an extra chance to win a key for The Last Worker. That's pretty freaking cool, right? So yeah, definitely go check that out. To join our Patreon, you can also find that link in our show notes, which is like our episode description. Same spot you can find our Discord link. So go check that out. Go join our Discord. Go join the Patreon, help us go full time, help us go to more conferences. Our podcast is free and all that. We're not exactly rolling in the $500 million Spotify deals or anything like that. So definitely go help that endeavor. And then other than that, why don't we give a little shout out to our 3 Patreon subscribers on our Patreon on air shout out tier as well. Those people would be, every week we like to give them a shout out. We got Shoes, Amelia, and we got Crispy. So thank you 3 for your continued support with our on-air shout-out tier. But we also have some other tiers in our Patreon. So, definitely go check those out. And back to the news now. So we left off on Creed, right? Mm-hmm. So, yep. So you kind of laughed at this one. Fruit Ninja 2 came out last week.
Yep.
The follow-up to the hit iPhone game, Fruit Ninja. There was a VR Fruit Ninja 1 as well, like it was in VR.
Yeah, it did very well.
Well, it's Fruit Ninja. It's just like the port of Angry Birds, which you actually really liked that.
Yeah, that was
Resolution Games.
That was done really well.
Phenomenal, actually.
Where Fruit Ninja, I don't feel has as much. I mean, it does have 3D effect, but not as much as I thought they put into.
Well, I'd say the Fruit Ninja one, oh man, I have to go back into it. So quote me if I'm wrong, whatever. But to me, it felt a little bit more like a 1-to-1 port of the phone version. Whereas Angry Birds really took advantage of being in VR.
Yeah, you were never able to move to different locations.
Yeah, Fruit Ninja was more like, hey, we're doing Fruit Ninja, but 3D. Whereas Angry Birds is like, imagine Angry Birds, but
3D,
or with VR capabilities. Like you said, you did things in Angry Birds VR that you could never do in the phone version. But nonetheless, so the sequel to Fruit Ninja came out on the Quest 2 last week, and it's got a little bit more than just the standard sword slashing. There looked like a little bit of a social area. You also have a bow and arrow mode. You have a rhythm mode. You know, they were showing some different game modes in their trailer where it showed like classic mode, Zen mode, arcade mode. Like I said, bow and arrow. Nah, that's always actually pretty freaking sweet in VR. I tend to like archery mechanics. So cool stuff. You know, it's cool to see. I was nervous when I saw a follow up. I was like, how do you make a sequel to Fruit Ninja? But the graphics didn't look good. They expanded the gameplay, added new stuff. Social VR is always cool. So I don't know if it's top of my list to go check out, but I'm at least curious. I think I got to give it a peek, you know?
I think they got a big enough fan base where they feel pretty confident that, you know, if most of them will buy the second one, and then for new VR users that, you know, they see a second one, it's brand new, they'll buy it. And I'd try it. It just, you know,
Again,
I won't be first in line, but I'll try it.
That's exactly my attitude. It's like, I have no reason to not try it. Nothing against it. Sounds interesting. Looks good.
It's somebody's jam. It just might not be mine.
Exactly. But there is also, you know, we always joke about our backlog. You know, we're doing double feature coming up this week. This week we're doing Peaky Blinders and Ghost Signal double feature. Look at that. Like one of those old school drive-in movies. You finish one movie, it goes right to the other. Boom. That's what we're doing this week. I referenced it before earlier in the episode. You had a great idea of a way to do it next week and going forward, and give some love to some smaller App Lab games too. So I loved your idea. We'll definitely do that too. But yeah, there's a huge backlog of content to get through. So I don't think Fruit Ninja 2 is taking my number one. But I'm definitely, why not? It doesn't look too bad. So huge props to them for continuing the series and keeping VR in mind. To me, that's the big thing that I like to see from that, is that, you know, these developers that have made some money in the past with phone games or whatnot, it's like, hell yeah, VR is an avenue that we've released on and we'll keep releasing on. So that's always cool to see. And then a studio that we've been loving recently, Alchemy Labs. We're catching up on their library. We're working on Cosmonious High, but we just reviewed Vacation Simulator. Before that, right before PAX East, we reviewed Job Simulator. So to say that we've been on a little bit of an Alchemy kick is an understatement. They demoed a hand tracking demo at GDC, and I played the video for us. And to be honest with you, I hate to say it, like I was like, oh, it's, you know, Vacation Sim had hand tracking 2.0. This was a demo for hand tracking 2.1. I was like, how newsworthy is this gonna be? And then we played the video, and within 2 seconds, you know, the character is typing, and you went, hold on. This is pretty freaking impressive. You're like typing, all right. And then you see them grab the mug, and it's probably the least clipped hands I've ever seen in VR. Like the hands are actually grabbing the handle. I know that sounds like nothing, but you got to see it to understand it. It just looked real, and all the interaction looked tight. And you were like, nah, dude, this is pretty good. I was like, yeah, you're right, man. This is pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, no, it looked real smooth.
Yeah, all the interaction was there. It looks like it took away all the restrictions of the controllers and all that stuff. So that was really cool to see. So Alchemy Labs, you know, they have a competitive multiplayer game in the works that I believe incorporates hand tracking as well. So hand tracking is definitely on their mind, but I'm still so curious about that. What the hell could be going on with that?
I don't know.
Competitive multiplayer game from Alchemy. It's just like, you know, you look at their 3 games that we've been diving into, they're all these single player, like adventure story games. To do anything multiplayer is such a 180. I'm confident it's going to come out good, but I have 1,000 questions and you know, so much I want to find out about that. So huge stuff to Alchemy. Cool to see that they're utilizing that hand tracking 2.1, and I'll give them props just how tight it looked. Now, granted, it was at GDC, probably beautiful lighting. Like what I mean is there was probably like huge arena lights and nice and bright. As we know, like you have to have a well lit room to have tight hand tracking. You know, there's no stuttering but all that aside, it was still very, very impressive. Kind of VR related, not really, not one of our favorite apps, but it exists. You know, VR chat. You know, they announced that they are working on an iOS and Android app. So pretty soon you're gonna be able to play VR chat mobile. No
it's
comment
called
on
text
that?
messaging. I mean, I don't. had it for a long time now.
This is one of the ones I didn't gauge with you before that I was going to bring up. I wanted the organic hearing it in the moment from you. I know it's one of your favorite apps.
Yeah. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, nothing against VR chat either.
No.
Let's make that clear.
If I don't get the jiggly titties and the foxtails, what's the point?
Yeah, and look, social VR apps are huge. People love Rec Room.
The last I knew, phone to phone, that's freaking texting. Unless they're going to have like a phone avatar that you can move around and stuff.
Oh, I got so many questions about this.
It actually intrigued me because I'm like, to what level are they going to do it? On the joking side, I'm like, it's just text messaging.
Mm-hmm.
But in like the real world application, I am curious, like what they're really.
Yeah, how well it's going to be done.
Yeah.
I know Rec Room has some flat screen versions, like you can play.
Yeah, I see it on Xbox.
Mm-hmm. You can play a PC as well.
I actually think I tried it once on Xbox and had about the same experience I had in VR.
One time I went onto the Rec Room subreddit, and what I didn't expect is, okay, so for one, people take the competitive games serious.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's
tournaments and shit.
a whole bunch of, I guess you could say, rifts between the flat screen community and the VR community of like, you know, the flat screen players complain that the VR players have an advantage somehow with the shooting versus like the key bindings, like the way it works on the keyboard. It was like, well, I kept saying, well, you're in VR, so you have an advantage. And it'll be like, well, yeah, bro, the game's designed for VR, you know? It was very funny to see. So don't be fooled. People take their competitive Rec Room gaming, what I found out, very serious. So,
oh, I believe it.
but you know, VR chat is less about the gaming. I know there's games in the worlds and stuff, but they definitely lean more just towards like the social worlds.
I just keep thinking of the documentary.
Oh, the We Met in VR.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The HBO one.
My boy.
Yeah, boy.
My boy.
No follow up on that, huh? I haven't heard jack.
No. I mean, from an overall,
What happened to you, Jenny?
wouldn't it be awesome to do a follow up? We met and then we realized, you know what?
We met and we
Our
left.
characters were so much more appealing to each other than we were.
Well, the thing is that documentary
We divorced and now we're hooked up again back in.
That documentary was 2 years old when it came out, you know, because it was recorded during the pandemic.
I think when it came out, they were all still together though. Because I had to do some back reading on after watching it. I'm like, all right, I got to know some shit.
Where's the follow up?
Were these paid, you know? But I mean, one of the things that made it weird is the people knew they were being filmed and shit, right? So when you're being interviewed for this movie, you're already not being yourself. So now how much more are you not yourself just for the sake of film?
How much do we get in character just playing the video
Thank you.
game?
Yeah.
Playing Peaky fucking Blinders. You
So
think you're
it's like-
fucking, you think you're American from Massachusetts, you playing Peaky Blinders?
No. Hell
Imagine
no.
if somebody interviewed you while playing that game. The answers you're going to give.
You're going to be wild.
It's going to be no
Off the
reflection
wall-
of you.
Off the wall wild.
Now, dude, how much of that is just me and you, and how much of that is like that's normal?
I think
it's more normal than you think.
I think it's like doing things you're not supposed to. More people do it than they'll admit to.
One of the first things I ever did in any VR game that let me hold a gun was I was like, what happens if I shoot myself in the head? I have no interest in shooting myself in the head.
No.
Okay, if you want,
Probably be good if you didn't.
here's the thing. Judge me off of who I am in real life, not how I play Grand Theft Auto. You judge me how I play Grand Theft Auto, you're gonna think very lowly of me.
Dude, I've seen videos of. You've seen the videos. They used to be real popular where they'd give like old people Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, and they
to
do
play.
the most heinous.
And then they start off like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And then by the end, you get this sweet little old lady just jacking people at ATMs and stealing cars. And I don't care who you are. You're going to have fun and down the road with it.
Yeah, in video games, it's all about doing what you can't do or won't do in real life. So why is that not going to apply in VR? Again, don't judge me off my actions inside the game.
No.
I'm probably going to do, dude, I remember one time in Pop 1, I walked up to you, went with the hand open and closed on your nutsack. I would
go.
Dude, why not? I think we brought that up with
It's like teabagging. Remember, everybody was teabagging in Pop 1.
I think you can get banned for that.
You know what?
I think that's messed up, yo.
I thought I heard they changed that, but I don't know.
I don't, dude.
I read about people claiming they got banned for some shit, and it's like
I'm pretty
I've seen
sure
people
that's a
say
bannable offense. and
one of
that's
my
messed
favorites
up.
is like
There's nothing wrong with teabagging.
I
to be honest.
know it's freaking hysterical. Don't give me the legs to do it if in a crotch if you don't expect.
In
And
the
a game where
squatting
you're
character model.
yeah, where I do it with the female characters too, so it's not like
I'll V-bag them, you know?
V-bag them. That's right.
Hit them with the old
V-bag.
the old V-bag. Nah, dude. Again,
Might be
don't
fucked up to learn like that was like
judge off my
you know,
actions.
like college kids and shit. I mean, they'll teabag. It's like shit happens. But imagine if
I would
teabagging
never
was a thing.
teabag somebody in real life, but I'll do it in a video game. Why not?
Or my favorite, the chocolate teabag bandit.
Mm-hmm.
Dip your balls in chocolate and then put them on the person's fucking eyes. I heard that on Stern. I won't steal his thunder.
There would be
The chocolate teabag.
way
bandit.
too much effort put into that. For one, the second I dipped my balls in chocolate,
Hot chocolate, dude. Not just chocolate.
that's not going to feel
chocolate
good.
hot enough
Who's
to be-
losing in that? I'd say you, as the person doing that, is losing way more than the other person.
Well, you know,
If anything, now they have
not
a
to
layer
plug
of-
our sponsor, but Manscaped can help you take away with any pain you might experience from having chocolate stuck to your hair. But
Yeah, I was gonna say, and then like, here's the thing: then you go teabag him with the chocolate. The guy's not even getting skin on skin, so he's got actually a protective layer of chocolate. Now you got burnt balls, and you didn't
dude.
even get to sack on skin him. So you
chocolate
really lost there.
Teabag bit.
You
This is
really
the
lost.
funniest thing ever, though.
You really lost. If I got teabagged,
You got special friends. that
I'd
do
rather
that.
get teabagged with the chocolate ball sack than skin. You know,
I'd rather not get teabagged at all in real life. But in Pop 1, I don't mind. I've gotten killed many times and just laughed when I saw like the guy run right over to me and start squatting up and down. I'm like, I'm being teabagged, man.
I'm gonna put this warning out there for the day we start heavily streaming. Don't judge me by my actions
dude, if
in
they-
a single player
If
story
they ban
game.
you for it, I won't do it.
Or no, even if we ever stream a single player story game, don't judge me by my actions, you know? That's all I'm gonna say. I'm especially the day they release Grand Theft Auto, you know?
Oh no, it's like it's on.
Mm-hmm.
The evil will. The evil will.
Blade and
protrude
sorcery,
through.
that's all I'm gonna say. I would never do what I do in Blade and Sorcery.
You could once.
I
you'd
saw
be
somebody
dead.
post on their subreddit. I don't even know the freaking stupid ass caption that they put as the title, whatever sarcastic ass title they put, like another day or something like that. It's like 5 bodies just all chopped up, and then you see the heads stuck in the spikes. It's actually 9 heads because it was 3 rows of 3. Like, you know how they have that spike wall?
Yeah.
So it's just the head on
That's
the
for
spikes,
decorations.
and then all the bodies all chopped up. And it was just like, dude, you know how much effort, how long it actually takes to like slowly to actually do what they do? Like they put a lot of
Yeah.
effort into that.
It's art. Sometimes the body will still like fucking move. That game brings out the best of the worst of you.
real quick, like too,
Yeah, dude.
real quick,
How
like
many? Just when you realize how many people are just naturally
heinous.
programmed to be Vlad the Impaler, who's given the opportunity, like, hey, my hands are clean.
Well, again, think that you want
Be
to
the worst sadist you've ever been in your life,
most of us would
and
never.
it's encouraged.
Most of us would never do that in real life. 99%. But the thing is, that's what's beautiful about video games is to not do or to do what you're not able to do in real life. The last thing I want to do in VR is go in it and have the same boring, mundane restrictions as real life. Unless that's like part of the game. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
wait until the horror genre, like, there's that real quick push for it.
mm-hmm,
Come out with games like Serial Killer,
mm-hmm.
crazy shit.
Wait till the game where you are the serial killer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's 100% what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Just the most disturbing shit. And you could be given a choice.
How you want to do this, baby?
And then they read the analytics of who chose what.
Pull out the little toolbox.
Find out what age you were, where you live.
How long each person spent
Occasionally,
with each victim.
occasionally
Did
put
you
you in
know
a
that-
separate file for the
Did you know
the
that
watch list.
5% of players spent over an hour torturing, victim 3?
Oh, dude,
That's
when I see in
insane.
a game and they're like, you got to work this guy over, and I'm on it.
Yeah, we'll
It's
get
not,
to
you
that
know.
on Wednesday.
I'm not even talking about that.
That's a good example, though.
Yeah. But there's no. You have to tell me twice.
Oh yeah. But actually, just a couple more things to talk about. On today's episode, we have a loaded week of content. We have today, we have a double feature on Wednesday, and then we have a phenomenal interview on Friday. So it's a loaded week of content. Just a couple more things to talk about. Yes, we've had longer Monday morning news, but that's life.
We've had shorter.
We've had shorter. We've had longer. Live with it. So today, another piece of news. Gorn announced that they're dropping on the PSVR 2. Which, we mainly cover the Quest 2. That's our main focus. So while it's cool to see them drop on the PSVR 2, that's not something we're going to really cover, review, experience, anything like that, unless Sony all of a sudden wants to mail us 2 PS5s and 2 PSVR 2s, which I don't think that's happening. But on the related piece of news on that, besides announcing that they're releasing on the PSVR 2, they announced that they have hit 1.5 million in sales across all platforms. That's it.
It would have been awesome if they said 1.5 million on the PSVR 2.
Oh, no way.
Well, yeah, duh.
No way. I don't even know. It wasn't even out yet, technically, at the time that they said that. Let's be real. I would have loved to see the platform breakdown of that. I'd be surprised if it's anything less than 75% Quest 2 or Quest in general, Quest ecosystem. Say 75% would be the smallest number it could be. I wouldn't be surprised to even see 80-85% of that revenue. But dude, 1.5 million in sales for a game like Gorn, that's cool to see.
That's really good.
When you hear Meta brag about this many games have hit, 1 million in sales, you never know which games it is.
Is that 1.5 million in sales or 1.5 million games sold?
1.5 million in sales.
Okay.
That was the wording.
Okay.
1.5 million games sold would be even more money, right? Because the game's like, even if it's $10,
Well, that's what I was hoping it was.
Yeah, 1.5 million copies. That would be a really good. I wonder what that breaks. I didn't do the math or anything of how much Gorn costs and how much units that would be broken down to. First off, I would need to look up how much Gorn actually costs. I don't have that off the top of my head, but that would be pretty easy for somebody to find out. Cool, too. But I'll say like Gorn's kind of more of a niche, like sandboxy beat 'em up game, and not the most popular in 2023. There's nothing bad about it. Like,
well, timing's everything.
Yeah, well, people are positive about it. Like, if you go on, the ratings are good. It's just not like number one, top rated, top playing, anything like that. But even they're hitting 1.5 million. Being on the official Quest store, even there, yeah, it's a popular. I didn't mean it like that. I'm just saying. What I'm saying is, like, even a game that's like, it's positive.
That shitty ass one.
Nah,
even they made 1 million. Come on.
Gorn, as a comparison, was part of the reason that Barbaria picked up Steam. So clearly, it has a following. People heard the Gorn and Clash of Clans comparison, and then they were very intrigued by Barbaria, even if it's not the most accurate.
No, it's not
comparison. But But it got people intrigued. Like, people liked Gorn. A lot of people checked it out.
And a lot of people didn't.
That's a good point too. Yeah. But it still hit 1.5 million.
Comparison for Barbaria.
I agree, but it's the comparison that existed.
And I would make the argument it's a different game than Barbaria.
Correct. But that's not what I'm saying either. All I'm saying is that the comparison itself got people interested. So clearly it's popular and everything like that. It's just not number one most popular, and they're hitting a 1.5 million in sales. I didn't mean it like
no, I get it.
Even they, good on them. They're more popular than most games.
Are they?
Just not top 20, I'd say. I'd be curious to know the whole list of developers or games in specific that have broken 1 million in sales on the Quest platform. I think you'd see some real surprising ones.
I think it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
I think that there's a lot that haven't as well, but I bet you that there's a lot that
the ones that have sold 1 million copies. That's the one I want to know.
Yeah, that's always the first thing you go to. You're like, I know revenue number, but I want to know the amount of copies.
How many actually games sold?
Yeah,
I can do the math after that. Just take a genius.
It's probably easy for them.
There's a reason why Pop 1 went free.
It's probably very easy for them to see, like, well, yeah, there's been this many keys redeemed, but how many of them were paid versus, like, given out to content creators.
Oh, they know.
Yeah, exactly. It'd probably be very easy to.
And it's not as big a percentage as I think it would occupy in the free space there or marketing space.
I've said it before, man. I'd still love to see Beat Sabers. So sick,
Good luck.
insane. Number one on like
Good
every
luck.
VR platform. Expensively priced.
Yeah.
Insane with DLC.
Constantly updated.
And constant more DLC. And monetized up the wazoo. Like I said, number one top selling, top rated. Huge following. Beat Saber's revenue numbers are probably sick.
It's retirement.
Yeah.
Whatever you want, however you want.
Yeah, that was a good purchase for Meta to buy them up.
Mhm.
I don't blame them on that at all. I mean, they see their numbers, so they were like, "Oh, this one's a good purchase." No, yeah. So huge props to Gorn for hitting 1.5 million in sales and expanding to a new platform like the PSVR 2. So huge props to them. One more thing to talk about this week. This one's actually looks really freaking cool. This month we're getting a new tennis game. You know, we had reviewed one VR tennis game in the past that was
Which
actually really good. Yeah.
And they had a really nice update. So
Made by Mickery Games was that one.
Mickery Games.
But I believe it was called First Person Tennis VR off the top of my head. But this one coming out this month is called Tennis League VR. And it has a career mode, an arcade mode, a classic mode, multiplayer,
Mini games.
and looks like it actually has a lot of freaking potential. The environments look good.
I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah.
Because I have something to compare it to, even though they're different, but it's not make believe tennis. It's fucking tennis. So I want to see how well they did out of the gate, how well they did their physics.
Yeah, I agree that physics is the big thing in tennis games. I know in the last tennis one, the developer was one of my favorite developers to read the reviews of him going back and forth with people and them complaining that the ball was going through the racket and him being like, nope, you just don't know how to play tennis, basically.
Yep. And he proved it.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. He's like, if you can frame by frame show me it happening, I'll believe you.
I'll buy you a Lamborghini.
I think he said he'd refund the game.
Yeah, because
like
he knew that
he was like, it's not happening.
It's not
He's
possible.
He's like, if you played real tennis, the exact same thing would happen.
You turned your wrist and the racket is actually not laying flat, my friend.
He goes, you're taking your eyes off the ball.
Yep. No, but I
Stop
mean,
swinging so fast.
when you read the complaint, it's believable.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, that's happened to me too. But then you read the understanding of like
You keep
the technology of why that
and you
it's
keep
actually you. You go, oh shit.
and
it
you
is
keep that
actually
in
you.
mind next time it happens to you. Hell yeah. You're
Yeah,
like, fuck,
you recognize that. No, I
can't
did
blame
that.
the guy.
Nope. But I'm anxious to play another tennis game.
Yeah.
So I'm glad there's another one to compare it to.
It's
Just like there were two ping pong games. One of them phenomenally rated. The other is the worst rated in the store.
I don't even know how that made it to the official.
Dude, they're like the Blockbuster of video games.
Yeah.
They're just one. I don't. Maybe
Well,
it's kept there as a lesson to
yeah.
other people.
But 11 table tennis is a huge hit. You know, and this one has
That's
like I said,
Elven table tennis. Sir.
forever. But this one has a career mode with Tennis League VR.
Mhm.
Dude, I'm a sucker for any sports game with a career mode. So
Well, yeah,
how
it
in
has
depth is that?
Because that usually means like you're gonna get to unlock stuff. You'll get stuff.
There was some pretty sweet looking avatar customization.
Granted, the AI will get harder and harder. But
In typical fashion, yeah, that's usually how it goes, unfortunately.
yeah, the avatars didn't look bad at all.
No, it looked like some real good, like I said, customizable options. So
So hope to get my dirty paws on that one.
if I was them, that means, all right, if there's avatars and there's clothing, that means to unlock all of them, you have to do the career mode and get some currency and spend some money and
Better
unlock them.
rackets.
If you don't, you're missing a shot at replayability in your game, you know? But I think the game had a lot of
Well,
potential.
multiplayer is how they'll get the
The replayability, yeah.
Yep.
And it did look smooth, at least on the
'Cause then you
trailer.
can have leagues. You could actually have tennis leagues and tennis night, and
Dude, we
it's kind of cool.
we always say that video doesn't do VR graphics
No.
justice. So when it looks good in the trailer, I'm like, oh shit, this is gonna be good.
It's
you know?
possible.
Yeah, yeah. Like, oh my god, this actually looks
I
good.
might be running off a
A PC or something.
PC with the best
Yeah.
video card.
You're always curious if it's shot on Quest or PC VR.
Wow, absolutely.
Yeah, sometimes it
Or in a
does say.
backlot studio.
Sometimes it does say filmed on Quest 2, and you're like,
Mhm.
so it's possible.
I appreciate when,
They say it.
yeah, and I mean, unfortunately for them, that means they have to do multiple commercial cuts, so they could say one with a PlayStation, one with, an Xbox. This is actual PC footage. This is actual Oculus footage. So, but I
Cater,
appreciate it.
yeah, cater to every crowd. But
Yep.
I'm definitely excited for this one. You know, you whooped my ass real good in
I love the
last
tennis
one.
game. So
Yeah,
I
well-
hope I love this one just as much, if not more.
I remember playing tennis games, hell, on the Dreamcast as a
Yep.
little kid. So you've always liked them. You know, they can be hit or miss, but when they're good, they're really freaking good.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for this one. Like I said, coming out this month in April. I believe it was April 20th, actually, 420.
Yep.
So, do some stuff. And
I
play
ain't
some
saying
tennis,
nothing.
play some tennis,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Wow, I keep missing the ball.
Amen.
Hey.
I'm kidding.
Why I gotta be all
We're in a-
competitive, man?
We're in a legal market, so
But nonetheless, so huge stuff with games coming this week. Last week we saw the release of Gambit, which we got to check out. We got a double feature coming up on Wednesday, like I said, reviewing Peaky Blinders and Ghost Signal, a Stellaris game. I love that little tagline on it, but it is an official spin-off of Stellaris, kind of a 4K grand strategy game. While this one's not a grand strategy, it's a roguelite. There's so much strategy in it. In Peaky Blinders VR, The King's Ransom, it is a VR adaptation of the hit. It's on Netflix, right? The hit Netflix series, Peaky Blinders. And, we had a great chat with Russ Harding the other week on our trips over to PAX. Got us super hyped to dive into it. We were like, all right, you know what? We got to do this review. So between Ghost Signal VR on Wednesday, Peaky Blinders as well, splitting the episode there, and then a great interview on Friday. We got a great week of content coming up. So stay tuned for that. And like I said, definitely check out our Discord, our Patreon. Go subscribe on YouTube. Give us a hi there. You always got to push the YouTube. Go check out the Reggie Kingston shirt on our store, on our Etsy store, which you can find on the top bar where it says store on our website, www.rufftalkvr. And then we'll check you out on Wednesday. Ciao, ciao.